We're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we know Collin Sexton is out right now. So it's just like there's a lot of people that feel like, oh, we heard the talk. Collin Sexton should be a six man. I think that's nonsense. I think like he's still valuable in this league. I think the problem was like with Darius Garland, his injuries is just like he's always had the ball in his hands, and they haven't played much with each other until like this season and then late last season. So it's just kind of like he's always had the ball in his hands. Collin Sexton is not a true point guard. So it's just like if he comes back, he needs to slide to that 2 position. But I don't know, what's going to happen with that situation and stuff like that, especially if the Cleveland Cavaliers are winning. So my thing is, my cap or no cap for you is just like, it's a combination. Should the New York Knicks, let's say if things don't work out with Collin Sexton and the Cleveland Cavaliers, should the New York Knicks, cap or no cap, the New York Knicks should trade for Collin Sexton?
Absolutely, if they can. I mean, we see what kind of they're doing with Kemba. I think a young backcourt star in Collin Sexton would team up well, with RJ on the perimeter. I think the lobs could be kind of crazy with him and Mitchell Robinson. And I think, too? I think New York fans would definitely embrace Collin Sexton. Like the way he plays in terms of hard, and he's talented. Yep. So it ain't just like he's a hard worker. He's good. But then, obviously, he's a dog. Yeah, and I think obviously though the next question that comes after that is, well, what's the trade package looking like? I don't think the Knicks are going to give up RJ. Obviously, the love is there. They just gave Julius that contract. I know obviously, with Collins' contract right now is kind of up in the air, but if the Knicks can pull it off, of course. But it's tough to answer that without there being an actual trade package on the table. Yeah, but
yeah, I think Collin Sexton and DG can work, but at the same time, it's just kind of like Collin Sexton playing off the ball, being a two-way monster, especially defensively and stuff like that. I think it can work, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, I don't know, like, it's been so much talk about like Collin Sexton, like, should he come off the bench? Should he do like this? I don't think he's gonna like settle for that in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if they start winning games and they make the playoffs without him, it's going to be a situation where like the front office is probably going to look and like, yo, like this is how we're going moving forward. Like we're moving forward with DG and Evan Mobley being our future. Collin, we still want you to return, but we're not going to offer you that big contract. And that's when the questions comes into play, like the money side of things. Like, yo, if he can get his money and get traded and go to a team that really wants him to be a starter, I think the New York Knicks will be the perfect situation, especially with like Tom Thibodeau, what they're about defensively, like his two-way ability. He's a dog, pairing with some other dogs. I think that would be the perfect situation. But then, like you said, you talk about trade package. What would that trade package be? I don't think it had to be that crazy, but I think it's just like the Cavs are going to want something in return.
Well, then, like if Collin does become a restricted free agent or whatever, and the Cavs have to match a certain offer. But, I'm just, all right, so.
Would they? That's what I'm saying.
Would they match it? I doubt it, depending on what the number is.
Yeah.
They should, though. Just pay the man his bread. Because then if you don't pay Collin Sexton, the next question is going to be, well, what is your true goal? Right? Obviously, you don't want to get too spoiled in terms of they've obviously improved this year, right? With DG and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. But now, even still with that, do you feel that this team can win a championship eventually? Maybe not this year or next year, but do you think that this team, this core, can win a championship without Collin Sexton? Because you know for a fact that you're not getting no free agents. You're not. So, no disrespect, but people ain't really going to Cleveland like that. So now it's like, all right, you've got guys to the draft, right? You got Evan Mobley, you got Darius Garland, you got Collin Sexton. You got lucky enough to get 3 guys that you have drafted. You got Jared Allen through trade, you got Laurie Marketing, but it's like, yo, that should be your core. If you mess that up, you're now starting, maybe not from square one, but you ain't getting closer to a championship by not signing Collin Sexton.
But maybe that's not their core. Maybe their core is Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and DG.
I don't think that gets it done. And I love Jared Allen. I love what he's doing for that team, but I don't think that gets it done. And again, in terms of winning a championship, if their goal is just to compete, make the playoffs every year, sell a few tickets, sure. But if you are trying to win a chip, I think Collin Sexton has to be a part of that. And it's not even if, ands, or buts about it. By you not paying him, you're basically making it clear like, hey, all right, we wish we could, pay you, but we just can't. All right, cool.
Yeah.
That just tells me what you're not trying to do, and that's win a championship.
Well, I guess the cap or no cap should be, if they make the playoffs, should they trade Collin Sexton?
No, I don't. There's no scenario where I think that they should trade Collin Sexton unless they go out and win the NBA Finals or make it to the. I'll say, if they make it to the semifinals, then maybe there's a conversation. But I don't see that happening. Again, if they do, kudos to them. But like this, in order for them to make it to the semifinals, that means they would have to beat the Bucks,
Mm-hmm.
the Nets, or the Heat, or someone like that. And
But I think my only fear is, I think when they start looking to like improve their team, and I hate to say it, but it's just like Collin Sexton's name is gonna keep ringing. So I feel like, what if it's a scenario where it's just like, if they don't pay him, that lets me know if they're waiting on another team that do a restrict. I don't know.
It's all a business at the end of the day. I mean, everybody knows that. So it's like, even though as good of a player as Collin Sexton is, if he goes down with an injury and he's not playing, then the team is winning and stuff without him. Naturally, as a GM, as a boss, you're gonna think, well, damn, do we really need this guy? Can we be cheap enough to not pay him and still get away?
Small market team.
Yeah, but again, being a small market team, who knows if you can really get away with that? You got lucky getting a very talented guard in the draft, right? You can sit here and say, well, our scouting team did a great job. There's plenty of teams that have shit the bed with drafting a certain player. You got lucky and drafted a guy that probably wants to stay with Cleveland, that wants to stay, regardless of the reason. Okay, if it's money or whatever. But like, yo, if he wants to stay there, he's good. He's a dog offensively and defensively. Don't get spoiled, right? Because even though Cleveland had a championship recently within the past 5 years, let's not make it seem like they've had a crazy history of signing free agents. Let's not make it seem like you done had decades of greatness following outside of LeBron. Like,
but you know what they're missing? They're missing that two-way like wing player. And then if you're a GM, you're kind of looking at a situation like, yo, we got DG, and then we got Collin Sexton. Like, Collin Sexton's a dog defensively, but we know that it's still a small backcourt as well. And we're kind of missing. We got Lauri Markkanen as the three right now. The three big lineup. It's working right now, but that's not going to always be their lineup. I just hate to, especially if they do make the playoffs, because he's going to get exposed real quick. Like, it's two players on that team that's going to get put on the island. It's DG and it's going to be Lauri. So maybe if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers front office, you're looking at like, yo, maybe we can like try to package Collin Sexton to a team to get like a Jeremy Grant. Maybe we try to go after get Cam Reddish. Like, it's some pieces out there. You may not be able to trade. Like, I doubt. But then again, who knows? Who knows? Because what you call the Hawks got plenty of win. Who knows? I'm just saying. But it's just like, it's some teams out there that Collin Sexton can like be very attracted to. And if you're winning with the Cleveland Cavaliers, you're like, yo, like Jeremy Grant for Collin Sexton.
I hate this business,
like,
man.
Sometimes
I really hate this business, man.
It sucks, man. But we got to talk about it. But shout out to Cavs, man.
Yeah. Shout out to the Cavs. Good cap or no cap, man.